What's up, mortgage coach community? I am interviewing and sitting down with Brent Palmer. Although I do want to edit a word I just said. We're going to flip the script. So I've been trying to get Brent on a call for a couple weeks since I saw him at the Guild conference. Actually, it's probably been a month now, right? Since I saw you. Well, we finally got here, and he's like, "Hey, Dave, I've been watching you do this halftime report. I have some questions I want to ask you." And he even had a vision that he might want to use this content with his loan officers in his channels. So I'm going to make this available in the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel because I think this is kind of a cool idea. And I don't want to say I would do this all the time for anyone, but I do want to do more interviews of me in the marketplace. So I'm gonna hand the mic over and the stage over to Brett, and Brett, take it away.
All right, I need to do the clap. Like, there we go. I got the clap in. No, I just thought that this would be a great lender takeover. You know, this has been such a crazy week for us all. And one of the things that I did the beginning of this week is we had a sales meeting in our district here in Oregon in the Portland metro area. And I went out to a lot of the loan officers that I respect and kind of asked them 3 questions as I kind of prepared for that sales meeting. And I thought that it would be really cool to get your insight, and with the travels that you've had with the halftime reports, and maybe get your thoughts on, you know, some advice for loan officers in this kind of changing season, right? It's turbulent to say the least. So the first question I've got is, and keep in mind, you're a loan officer in these scenarios. So what has been the major change that you've seen loan officers implement into their business in the last 60 to 90 days?
Well, first of all, I'm not a loan officer, but I interview lots of loan officers. So I'm not going to pretend to be a loan officer. But as someone who interviews a lot of loan officers, I am absolutely seeing total focus from the people that are winning and top producers on being a problem solver, that in recognizing the fact, and I actually got this quote from a top loan officer, that recognizing the fact that consumers no longer like the answers that we have when they ask what interest rates are. You know, for years now, people either were like, "Awesome, I didn't know they were that low," or it was a happy conversation. Maybe they shopped you. But there's no doubt in this market, no consumer likes it. And the biggest changes I'm from loan officers that are succeeding is they're looking for the pain, and then they're being creative at solving the pain. So they're solving problems, they're creating market opportunities. So, and I'm seeing that. Like I had Jeremy Forcier on a stage today, and he was talking about how this, I think it was like a $700,000 home listed, and the buyer wasn't going to pay 700, they wanted to pay 620, and the listing agent was saying, "Don't even make an offer, you know, they're not going to do it." And so Jeremy said, "Well, hey, what if," and he rallied them together and he did a seller buy down, "what if they made the full page offer, but seller, you paid 3 points, 2 of those to buy down their rate and a point to reduce their cash," and they came to terms because the buyer didn't quite get the payment they would get at the lower purchase price, but it was close. It was close enough. And the seller didn't get as much cash as they wanted, but it was close enough. And so creating solutions like that, I think is something I'm seeing a lot.
So are you saying, like, so what I'm taking out of that is the loan officers that are having great success, they're almost having to re-educate the consumer and give them the different strategies, give them, you know, talk about, you know, how to achieve some of the same goals with the seller buy down strategy, which, by the way, Scott's presentation earlier this week, probably one of the best ones that I've seen in that mortgage coach community. So, you know, kudos to Scott. That was super valuable. But I think that I couldn't agree more. I think that you do have to kind of find a different strategy to be able to share with the consumer and bring them up to speed. A lot of times what they hear in the media isn't necessarily the reality in the mortgage industry. I saw on the Today Show, they said that you have to have 20% down. It just, just getting in front of the customer, I think, is important.
Well, before you do that, I would frame it that advice has always beat price, but price has gotten so ugly that advice is everything. Like it is an advice over price market. So just letting it out.
So I was talking to one of my top agents that I work with here in Portland, and she was telling me this morning, actually, that she's getting on average anywhere from 10 to 14 calls a day from loan officers, where in the past year, she might have gotten 2 or 3 a week from loan officers. So when you're talking to successful loan officers out there, what are you seeing that gives them the best results when asking for referrals, whether it's an agent or a customer? Is it a passive approach? Do you have a direct approach? What do you see works the best?
Well, first, making the calls, and I am hearing from top loan officers that it's a great time to recruit realtors because they are struggling, they have issues, and if you can come to them with solutions, they're more open to that. But 14 calls in a single day, every day, that's a lot. I always think that in selling, and this, whether it relates to mortgage or any sell, the more that you can make warm calls, and the advice I have is anytime you can get introduced by someone, and I don't think loan officers work hard enough to get introduced, from someone that knows that person and likes that person. I think work harder to do that. Use social media so that you know them, show them you know them. In every sell I've ever been involved in especially in mortgage, the more you can show someone you know them, and it's not just a random call. It's a call that has some relevance. You're showing them that you know them. Hopefully you get introduced. I also think not all calls are equal. Like I don't know what the headlines are that people are using, but one that I like right now, if I was calling a realtor, is hey, I think we got to get away from generic, where hey, if I could show you how to close 2 to 3 more loans over the next couple months, would you give me 15 minutes? I would try that script, but I would also drill down and go specific and say, hey, if you got 15 minutes, I have an idea on how I can help you identify the best borrowers in your database that could become listings. I've got a specific idea to help you get to the buyers that are most likely to sell and list their home right now. Do you have 15 minutes? And then using borrower intelligence, using data, using mortgage coach with a move up analysis or something, I would do that. Also, it's an interview I just did with Todd Bellinger. This is a good time, and I don't know if you do reverse mortgages or not. But
I don't personally. We do offer that service though.
Yeah, well, I think we're going to see more people just looking for solutions, for folks that are 50 plus, 60 plus, who have money in equities and they might be living off those. They're not going to want to do that. You don't want to take money out of the market right now and it's down 20%, likely to go down a little more. So they're going to be looking like, how do I use my equity? Like every consumer in America needs to be looking at home equity, home debt, and their investment portfolio and their retirement, and they need to be assessing those things right now. So I just think it's a good time to go to realtors with solutions and a good time to go to your database with solutions.
Yep. No, I think those are solutions. I think solutions are great. I think that the ideas and taking those to agents, especially when asking them for referrals, is, being more direct, but utilizing that, whether it's a seller buy down or a move up strategy, I think that there's a lot of opportunity to educate and kind of get over that rate conversation, because you can kind of flip that into an affordability conversation. If you're using the right strategy, now that home becomes affordable.
I do have one more thought and idea on this too. If I was a loan officer in this market, I just recently had a birthday and I had a lot of people say nice things on social media. I got a lot of private messages. I got a lot of text messages. I had a couple text voice memos. I had more than a couple, I had quite a few. And then I had a few videos via text. And those videos via text stood out. Like there was just the time, the connection. And so I would also say when prospecting realtors and communicating with realtors, a text video. So, but I do not think just because realtors are getting lots of calls, it's like, oh, I don't want to be one of those, loan officer spammers. No, you just show them, you know them, have an angle, and then text video. And while there are some realtors that don't like text video, they would be like, I met a top producer that I don't like that. I just want to have them netted out in a text. Know your audience. And if that's the case, net it out in a text. But I would be experimenting with text video a lot right now in today's market.
When they're sending you text video, are they off the cuff, just, up on a selfie kind of situation, like, hey, Dave, happy birthday? Or was it more of a scripted, like bomb type style? Like what stood out?
Oh, no, I don't, again, I don't think it should be scripted. My move is like, if I have my camera, you can't see it. Well, you can see it. I put my hand against the wall and use the wall like a tripod. So then you're not shaking it, have a good background, put your phone against the wall, or, have a tripod, a selfie stick. And I do think it needs to be from the heart. It needs to be purposeful. Like, should you be wishing your realtors happy birthday right now? Absolutely. And do it with video. Should you be, when you are doing business with someone and there's a legit reason to say thank you? Absolutely. So I just think purposeful, thoughtful, and then when they can be valuable, like when you're actually saving the agent time and there's value, you do that. But like not bomb, and I'm not knocking bomb. You should be using bomb. I just think that's something different. That's a different golf club.
Yeah. The thing that I found in talking to a few of the loan officers, they're obviously in the Modern Mortgage Summit, Dan Keller talked about how he's setting up more of a group text to the agents rather than an email introduction. I think that is something that is a phenomenal tool to use. It captures so much more in that opportunity. I think, that's something that we started asking agents to do about a year ago, and it's worked really well. I talked to Brian Manning out of Denver or Colorado, and he said that he just started planning two lunches a day. The guy's crazy. He's doing 2 lunches a day, and he's just scheduling them back to back to back. And he's saying that he's getting tremendous results with that. Is just reconnecting and having just having more of that relationship based versus transactional based. So
yeah, and Brian Manning, I interviewed him a few years ago, and he was one of the first ones that was doing that whole video text. And we've actually got it in the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel, and he was also in the Modern Mortgage Summit a few years. And he puts a tripod up, and he does over 100 realtor videos a week. I don't know if he still is. But I know he was. And then I know every loan matters more than ever. I've always thought it was important that, you meet with the customer, give them a quick video, I'm talking consumer, give them a video text, making sure they know that they heard you, providing some professionalism, and then followed up with a TCA. I would be putting just a perfect modern mortgage experience around every consumer.
Yeah. The last referral thing that I found that I thought was really cool was adding a 90-day call to your platform. A lot of people have your milestones as well as your first payment call, but with inventories where they are and rent backs now, a lot of people aren't even in that house in that first 30 days when their first payments due. So adding a 90-day call, their level of stress is down. They've unpacked the boxes. And that is a great opportunity to ask for that referral. But specifically, when you're asking for it, kind of flip it a little bit. Hey, do you know anybody that that is going through either selling or buying? I'd love to reach out to them on your behalf and share your experience, as well as give them an opportunity to have me review their documents or cost summaries or whatever the case may be, and just give them some feedback. Second set of eyes, no pressure. This isn't a sale. It's just more of a service to you as a thank you to the people that you care about. So I thought that was a pretty interesting one.
I think that's a great idea. I would recommend everybody do that. And just a reminder on the best way to ask for referral that I've heard, and it works for a lot of folks, and what Jeremy Forcier is doing, or he's the one that first told me the idea, but now I know hundreds of loan officers doing this, is that when the client's in process, so you're actively doing a loan with them, and they say thank you, so that little magical moment when they're digging you and they're showing appreciation, to just send an email saying, can you help me? I am looking for people. I want to work with people I like in this market. And do you know a couple of people that could benefit from my services or that I can talk to? So asking for that referral in process, and, pure gold in today's market.
Yeah, absolutely. Last question for you. So if you were to give a loan officer advice where they needed to pick up 1 or 2 applications this week or this next week, coming into next week, where would you tell them to start? Where is their best opportunity for that lead? And how are they going to pick up that additional or that additional application or even lead for that matter?
Well, I'm gonna answer that two ways, because I want to, one, give a little value to new loan officers. And this will, so if someone's pretty new and they don't have a database, they don't have a lot of past clients, I'll answer that. But first, especially if you're new to Mortgage Coach, call everybody that rents and say, hey, I need your help. I need to practice this rent versus own analysis on you. And I guarantee, if you were new in the business and you called 20 people to practice a rent versus own analysis on them, you'd get a deal. You would come up, it might be 10. I don't know what the number is, but if you did that, and also you're going to get good at having that conversation. And then for all the homeowners, hey, I need your help. And I need to get really good in this market of helping families optimize their equity and their debt. I'm not here to say, let's do I want you to move up and sell your home, but can I practice a move up analysis on you? And I promise, you get a little value. Remember, these are people that know you, like you, and trust you. So that's my advice to new loan officers in this market. Now, my advice to seasoned pros, in some ways it's the same, but I'm going to put a nuance on it. First of all, who are the people that you like the most in your full database? And I'm talking realtors, CPAs, financial planners. Like, it's tough out there right now. So we do not want to call the people we like the least right now. In fact, if people that we don't like call us, let's let that go to voicemail. So really, kind of stack the deck. This would be a good time to try to make 100 calls in a single day. Because one, you'd get a lot of touch points, and two, you'd be really proud of yourself. You'd feel like, I'm a killer. But even if you only got to 70 or 80, but I would say, like, next week, spend this weekend, not Father's Day, but, put together a list of the people that you like the most. That'd be one criteria. And then the other criteria is they're most likely to need my services, or they have influence. So I don't want to just purely sort it based off of influence and likelihood of giving me deals, because I really want to talk to people that I want to talk to. But I'd kind of put those two things together. And then I do think it's a time to make some dials. I have talked to a lot of very like Jeremy and his closing thoughts. He's like, I want to close 20 loans a month again. And he's not closing 20 loans a month right now. And he goes, I don't know where this year is going to end, but all I know is I'm going to give it my best. I'm going to, be doing, making my calls to realtors, making my calls to past clients, doing my annual reviews, doing semi-annual reviews, calling all my trigger alerts. And when December, 31st hits, I'm going to be good. Like, whatever it is, I'm good. So I just think we gotta make lots of calls, and we need to be intentional with who we're calling.
I love it. I think calls. Those are going to be your key indicators for who's going to rise above in this market and who's going to be unfortunately left behind. So
and the only nuance to that is, guys, we're in a multi-channel world. So maybe some people it's text, call, email, text, call. Like it's a multi-channel world. Maybe it's text, call, video, 30-minute video. But it is communicating, it is selling in today's market, like we're soft. I interviewed a top leader who I have a tremendous amount of respect with. And he said, number one thing in this market is short form video. So kind of speaks to that, but it also means different social media.
yeah.
And number two is it's time to upgrade your sales skills. And the number one thing in sales skills is outbound activity. So get after it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think actually I really appreciate that that first idea for new loan officers, even seasoned pros. We all know somebody that rents. That's something I've never even thought about. Like, hey, and the easiest way to get what you want, ask for a favor, right? When I started this call, I said, Dave, can you do me a favor? Can I interview you? No, this has been incredibly helpful, and I appreciate you taking the time to give us some good insight.
Yeah, no, if you don't ask, it's always no, guys. So anyways, really appreciate you, brother. And
Yeah.
Thanks for the opportunity to get interviewed.
All right. Take care.
All right. Take care.